There's a lot of creeps around us.
Got you now.
Oh man! Do we have a story to get through today? I'm back, and today's discussion is about Creepshow Art. Who, like her name, turned out to be a bit of a creep herself. If you don't know Shannon, then I don't know what you've been doing on YouTube lately. You're probably in a better place than me. She's an art commentary channel that discusses relevant topics and calls out other creators for creepy, nasty behavior, which I suppose ended up being ironic as hell. So Shannon made videos that occasionally mentioned she had a stalker named Amy who went out of her way to send gross emails her way, and it depicted like self-harm, among other things. Turns out this story was actually flip-flopped, and Shannon was a stalker towards another creator. Another YouTuber named Emily Artful came out to say that Shannon was allegedly stalking her for 8 years. She went as far as getting her fired, making numerous accounts to send her hate, and tried desperately to stop her from making YouTube videos and content. Shannon's in-real-life husband also allegedly sexually assaulted Amy, which is just despicable. I'm sorry, I have like a really big disdain for people who assault other people. I don't like that. Oh my god. Shannon also was using the gossip forum lolcow to talk shit on all her YouTube friends as well as other members of the YouTube community, which is just like, it's just more on the pile. I'm surprised all this just started coming out at once. Like, it wasn't one thing that came out, it was just one thing, and then it just piled on more and more and more. The lolcow thing came out before the stalker thing, but I started with the stalker thing because that's a little more relevant, I think. I really wouldn't have made a video if it was just her talking shit about her friends. Like, who cares? That's shitty, but it's not that big of a deal, I guess. She was exposed for talking shit on this forum by the website's admins themselves after she broke a few of the forum's rules, like self-promotion and doxing. She made a post from one of her fake sock puppet accounts, doxing her sister's personal Twitter account, which is just weird. Why would you do that? She had many fake accounts. She used to argue with, like, herself, I guess, to seem more relevant to anonymous users. I find this funny since I've been a fan of Creepshow for quite some time, and I remember a lot of the things she had said in her videos. I remember in one video she said when her YouTube account was first starting, she would have her own videos like on a loop with her husband's account, so it seemed like she had more views. So her creating extra accounts to argue with herself and talk crap on other creators isn't too far-fetched. I could see it. The attacking thing, though, I was just, like, flabbergasted. Yeah, that's the right word to describe my feelings. I was so just blown away, I was flabbergasted. So yeah, after all this chaos came out, people on Twitter and YouTube started sharing their own stories with Shannon. Let's take a look at Kevin Coulter here. Good old Kev. Kevin's got a lot of tweets. I never thought I'd find myself related to a situation like this, but I am absolutely in the business of holding people accountable for their actions. So I'd like to share what I know about the situation between Creepshow Art and Emily Artful. In the interest of preventing doxing, I'm not going to include any information that might put someone in danger, but if it becomes necessary for either a court case or if things get wildly out of control, I can provide more specifics. I met Shannon my freshman year of college in 2011. We shared an English class and worked on a group project together. Outside of that, at the time, we didn't have much contact. I ended up leaving that school and attending a community college that was close to my hometown. At that school, I ended up meeting my abuser. She ended up completely separating me from my entire support group, and I lost nearly all of my friends. There was a period of a few months where my abuser and I broke up, and this is when I reconnected with Shannon. Shannon ended up at the same community college, saw me on campus, and stopped me to say hi. I was desperate to make new friends, so this seemed like a blessing. She was fine at the beginning. We'd just hang out and share music, but she became concerning very quickly. It started with her introducing me to Anthony's music, her husband. She told me he was her ex and they were still in a sexual relationship. The way he treated her seemed very unhealthy, and I told her as such, but Shannon was insistent he was good for her. Eventually, she shared one of Anthony's music videos that featured Emily, and told me that Emily was also Anthony's ex. Shannon told me that Emily was crazy, and Anthony only kept her around because she was a good singer, among other things. For the next while, every time Shannon and I would hang out, she would fixate entirely on Emily. She would point out all of what she perceived as Emily's flaws, would talk about how all of her tattoos were related to Anthony somehow, and everything she could to put her down. I thought it was strange to fixate on someone so much. But I was desperate for anyone to help me out of this situation I was in, so I ignored a lot of the red flags. I haven't really been able to forgive myself for that, especially considering what came next. Shannon began to cyberstalk Emily. First, she started by finding her YouTube page. She shared videos with me, and I naively thought that it was harmless, and it would go no further. But Shannon started looking for her home address, her phone number, or any of the other information she could find. Shannon told me how she had plans to harass Emily, either by sending her letters or prank calling her home, how she planned to leave hate messages on her videos or DM her from the burner accounts to spread hate. This is when I began to distance myself from Shannon. The distance led me back to my abuser, which is a different story. But one of my last interactions with Shannon was her proudly showing me that Emily had posted a video about closing her YouTube channel because of the harassment she was receiving. Emily talked about how much it hurt to lose something that was important to her, but she was so anxious and in pain from the targeted harassment that she couldn't continue. It was at that point that I began to cut Shannon off. I felt guilty since that day that I didn't do anything sooner. That I didn't go to the police with what I knew, or at least attempt to talk with Shannon to tell her what she was doing wasn't okay. But I was battling my own demons, and none of it seemed like an option. I know that was kind of a long one, but it gives us a bigger picture, and it's a good reminder. Just because someone seems like all happy auntie meeting you on brunch on a Tuesday morning online doesn't mean they aren't creepy Uncle Chester in real life. Another lie she was called out for was her finances. As a former fan, I know in many videos Shannon claimed she didn't use YouTube for money, which I found odd because of how consistently she posted. For example, I don't use YouTube for money. You guys know that because I take a lot of breaks. I take breaks because I work 50 hours a week at a regular annoying job, and I don't always have the time to spend on making content. I wish I did. I don't. My mental capacity can only handle so much, you know? But Shannon would be uploading 3 times or more a week and saying she didn't do it for money, which that never resonated with me. I'm like, I guess if you're an artist, you work from home, so you're already at your computer, and all she was doing was making art and talking, so easy content. But I don't know, it just seemed like a lot of work to be just doing it for fun. Repzilla recently made a video showing a voice message Shannon left him talking about her finances.
Like I said, this video is probably going to be all over the place because it is a difficult video for me to make. It gives me anxiety. I'm having anxiety as we speak. Creepshow Art left the chat here. And what I said was, wait, why did she leave? My feelings hurt. So we were asking her what was going on, and her response was to leave the chat. And to give you a bigger picture of this, she was leaving chats back in May. It was like she knew something was coming, playing both sides. On multiple occasions, she bragged about her finances, saying things like, said she doesn't rely on YouTube, but I think she makes a considerable amount on it. I talk to YouTubers her size, and they make at least $20K a month. This corroborates something that she actually told me and other people. I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a voice memo. It was the last voice memo that she sent me when she was still talking to me, right before she just deleted Instagram and just ghosted us. It's where she talks about making that specific amount of money.
I understand. I also haven't been liking YouTube in a while. I so badly want to say, I had a great time, but, the only reason I was doing YouTube towards the end here was, the money. I was making, $20,000 a month. And I was like, I was excited because it was like, I can move into all these places, I can do all this stuff. But I was so mentally drained because it was like...
And this isn't the only occasion. She said it in the locale threads. She said it to me. And it was just, it clicked. And it was just like, no.
So what you believe versus what you don't is your call. Like, I think she's a liar, which sucks considering I was a former avid viewer. But, you know, you live your life, you move on. Do I think she's the worst person alive? No. But I think she's gross and annoying. As of recording this, the most recent update is Shannon's sister came out on Twitter to answer some questions, etc. Which was very nice of them to do. Though I assume they were just doing it because they were annoyed with all the Twitter notifications. Here are a few tweets from that. If you guys want more info, check out Emily Artful's video on the whole thing. She tells her part of the story from her own perspective, and it's very moving. She provides what proof she does have in the video, as well as, well, I mean, that's better than when Shannon would call out people. Like, she'd call out people in her stories and be like,
I actually don't have proof because I deleted everything. What a weird coincidence. Take my word for it. I somehow deleted all the evidence. It was just so funny.
that kind of thing. We should have known. I should have known. Which was why, when she used my stalker, Amy, spoofed my IP address as that now explanation on her community post, which I'll put right here. You can give that a read if you like. I thought that was funny because she always had these sponsorships by the VPNs and whatever. So, it's just, woman, what are you doing? Anyway, if you guys like my content, leave me that like, throw me that sub, and join us here. We love to have you. And I'll see you next time.
My IP address got spoofed, guys. I swear, I'm such a goober. Like, wow. Sponsored by NordVPN.
God damn it.
All I wanna do is you.